Early success in real estate, it feels amazing. It feels great. You got money coming in, your momentum is building, right? But something starts to shift, especially when you have that like really early, really fast, almost like unexpected, maybe even a little bit lucky stuff. And then something starts to shift, and it happens quietly. And I've made a video about this as well, but I wanted to hit it from a different angle. The first video I made was about when you hit a plateau. What I'm talking about in this video is whether or not you've hit the plateau, it might be something that's creeping up on you if you've had early success. So the first video about the plateau, feel free to go back and watch it. It's all about like, it doesn't matter where you're at. You could be 8 years in the business. This video is, hey, I had a good year, crushing it. I'm finding it early. This is a good video for you to watch because I want you to avoid the plateau that came down the road for other people. So on the surface, this video might feel very much like that one, but it's for two pretty much different audiences. And so that's really important. Now, if you are here, you might know this, you might not. I'm Isaac Guzman. I'm with Real Estate CEOs. I'm part of Space, powered by LPT, all that other stuff. And you know what? I do a lot of talking about those things, but here, I'm just here to give good advice. You'll see there's no calls to action or anything at the end of this video. I'm just here because people are asking me questions, and I feel compelled because of how greatly the YouTube universe has blessed me and given back to me. I need to start giving back even more. Just strictly advice on this one. When you have early success, it feels great, but this is the part that no one really warns you about. You think that the chaos, like it's still chaotic, but you're like, dude, I did it. Like it's kind of like running a marathon, I would imagine. Now I've done like Spartan races and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, there's a Spartan medal. I think you could see it right here in the corner. I've done things like that. I grew up playing all kinds of sports, and like you get accomplishment, you achieve things, but man, sometimes it's bloody and brutal and tiring and exhausting. And so a lot of times what somebody who has early success thinks is, this is just the way it is right now, but more volume. If I could just sell more, that'll smooth things out. It's a very common belief, and it actually sounds pretty logical. Like, hey, well, if I sell more houses, I'll have more money, and then I could throw money at my problems. And usually we don't say it exactly that way, but that's kind of what we're thinking. And it sounds very logical, and it does work at first. Like, okay, now I'm going to buy that CRM I really wanted. Now I'm going to hire a virtual assistant, right, to help me manage my email inbox. Now I'm going to just pay for the mailers and have somebody set my open house signs for me. Those are all good things, and they work at first, but then it doesn't. Because here's what actually happens. Volume goes up, and a lot of time control goes down. And the first things to break, to be honest with you, when you talk about control, it's your day. The first thing that breaks is your day. What time you're waking up is usually like, now it's dictated based on this meeting I got to go to, this training I got to do, paid $5,000 for this coaching program, and they have calls at 6 in the morning or whatever it is. And your day is the first thing to break. You don't have a set start time. You don't have a set finish time. Your business is controlling all that. And I know that I'm like preaching to the choir on that. You probably already know this. And lots of people have helped kind of time block your way or whatever it is, but that's the first thing that happens. You're reacting all day. You're reacting to text messages, to emails, to calls, to, the fire drills. There's no clear start or end to the day, like I said, and that creates a big problem. Your calendar owns you. Like, you're really busy early, and then you're busy late, and then you're still behind. The thing is, like, you're not lazy. I'm not saying that. Like, lazy is a different thing. It's for a different group of people that probably doesn't even belong in real estate. All right, you're not lazy. You're not undisciplined per se. You just lack structure, and you're stuck in reaction mode on working in the business. You'll hear this a lot. Don't just work in the business, work on the business. What you're talking about, what I'm describing, is working just in the business and having the business really working on you. The problem with this, or the reason, should I say, that this happens and becomes a problem, is because success in real estate, early on especially, it actually rewards bad habits. It's just true. I've seen it over and over and over again. It rewards bad habits. It rewards like winging it, being really good at talking and convincing people. That is a small part of scaling a real estate business and keeping consistent results and consistent success. That is a small part of it. Your ability to sell. Oh, I can sell to anybody. Just get me in front. The amount of times I've heard agents go, just get me in front of somebody and I'll close a deal. Like, I don't doubt that. The problem is you don't know how to get in front of people. You don't know how to get in front of people. You don't know how to get in front of people consistently enough to solve all your problems. Right? To have a life, to have a start time and an end time to your day. There's the other thing. Speed feels productive. I'm really fast at doing it. I respond super quick and it feels productive. Now, granted, forget the 4 things that I set out to you last night. I sat there, I looked at my calendar, I mapped it all out, I wrote out my 4 intentions for the day, and then at the end of the day, None of the intentions got done because I was quick. I was so fast though. When my client asked this question, when the escrow officer had this question, when somebody needed to see, I was so fast, but I made no progress on any of my intentional things for my business. Because structure, by the way, building an SOP, a standard operating procedure for how to create a pre-listing packet and get it dropped off at the doorstep, or how to manage your inbox for your virtual assistant, that feels slow, right? Speed feels productive. Structure feels slow. And so you skip it. You skip those things. Yeah, I'll do it another time. And the problem is, like I said, it rewards the bad behavior. Money keeps coming in though. Now forget the fact that there's like 5 people that are still waiting from a call for you and they just ended up going with another agent even though they really wanted to work with you. Money's still coming in. So you're like, that's okay. I know I should be doing better, but it happens. And I'm sorry to be so real about it, but it's the truth. And the thing like redesign, talking in another video about something called structural lag, where your business and your income grows faster than the structure of how you run your business. Redesigning is required, but that always gets pushed off because, hey, I'm making money and it feels good to be really fast, okay, and to feel busy. Really, you're operating without structure. You're running from task to task. You're not following a structured process that you've defined. You're probably constantly saying like, I'll fix this later. I know I should create an action plan for after open houses inside my CRM, but you know what? For now, I'm just going to call and text each and every one of them and keep using the spreadsheet. Letting urgency decide everything. I know I told my coach and my accountability group and whatever, and ChatGPT coaching me, like I told it I was going to make calls from 9 to 11. It's now 10:15 and my client has a question that's going to require some research. I need to make sure that they feel and they get the answer, so I'm going to stop doing this and I'm going to go ahead and start doing that research. The thing is, that works before. It works when you don't have a lot of clients because you have more time than you have clients. But now they're going to cost you control. Because here's the thing, it's not about effort. That's what most people think. Oh, I'll just solve it with more effort. It's not it. It's about design. The business grew, but the structure didn't. Again, we talk about structural lag. What helped you win early doesn't necessarily help you continue to win. I'll give you an analogy, right, from my real life. My son, he's a soccer player, really good at soccer as a young kid growing up, but it was mostly because he's just fast. He's tall, he's super fast. They called him Lightning. Like that was his nickname for the first like 2 or 3 years because he just smokes everyone. Well, now kids are catching up and he needs to have skill. What worked in just being fast doesn't work at the next level. Now that he's going into like club and all this other stuff. It starts to hurt you later if you don't focus on structure. And so early success, you get a lot more deals, you get more confidence, but the reality, it feels that way. Like you're like, I got more deals and I'm really good at this. I must be God's gift to real estate. But later, the reality sets in. You lose control. You have less control. You have a lot less clarity. So again, this other video that I talked about earlier in this video, it's about like for people who've already gotten to that place where they go, dude, I just lack clarity. I'm making really good money. I've been at this for a while. And I just don't know where this is really going. And I feel guilty because like my life's great, feeling like I'm not growing anywhere. And so I'm dissatisfied. And that's driving some kind of guilt. I don't want you to get there. That's why I made this video for those of you guys who found early success in real estate. And I'm warning you where it could go. Because here's the trade-off. A trade-off is a business that works for now, but not for long. That's the thing we're trying to avoid. So you need to ask yourself right now, pause. Not pause the video, like pause your mind for a second. Maybe pause the video, but you need to ask yourself, am I building this for now or am I building this for later? So this is usually the moment. You have a decision to make and you got to make it with clarity. Spend some time thinking about it, because here's the problem, and I say this in my last video too because it's true. Agent advice typically stops helping at this point. Like there will be people, you don't need to learn how to negotiate better, okay? You don't need new tactics. You don't need like the next way of, calling for sale by owners or whatever it is. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to go to Motiversity on Spotify and start having Eric Thomas and, what is her name? Mel Robbins start yelling at you to get out of bed or whatever it is, okay? You need perspective. You need somebody to look at your business, whether it's you, AI, whatever, but you need perspective. And that's where a good coach comes in, a good consultant, someone who looks like, here's how it's built currently, here's your constraints, here's your blind spots, and here's how you can get past that and into the next thing. Here's the things you need to implement. Not just like, here's how to close more deals. The amount of stuff that's out there to close more deals, it's nauseating. Not in a bad way. It's great that there's that information out there, but it's not what you need in this situation. Early success is not the problem, but it does create the problem. Ignoring it Ignoring what it creates is actually the problem. Now, here's the thing. If this felt familiar, probably means that you're right on time. And you're probably that type of person who's like, yeah, I'll do it later. I'll fix it later. I had early success. I got money coming in. I feel really strong. I get in awards at my office now as rookie of the year or whatever it is. But there's something off. I keep pushing that down, and I don't want to be that burnt out realtor down the road. Now, okay, Isaac, what's the solution though? Just go hire a coach? Like, are you trying to get me to use you as a coach? No, I don't care about any of that. All right. I do all that stuff. People that join with me in different ways. I'm not worried about that. Here's what you have to do. You have to first look at your process for generating leads, converting leads on the buyer side, converting leads on the seller side, holding consultations, and what happens at the end of the transaction to get that person into your network to get you repeat and referral business. What I want you to do right now is go to ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using and go, hey, help me by asking me questions one at a time, right? There's nothing worse than AI asking you 15 questions and you're like typing a whole essay. Ask you questions one at a time on how I do X. Maybe it's run open houses. Maybe it's do buyer consultations. Maybe it's do listing presentations. And I want you to help me formalize it. And I want you, especially in like conversion, we call it elite, E-L-E-T. Every lead, every time, every listing, every time, right? That's the way we call it. That's how you become elite in our organization. And so what's my process that I'm going to run every single time? And then you're going to run that through and go, where are some areas that I can get some efficiency, where I can get some lift? How can I create this, right? So a good example might be, I'm going to give you a real life example. So maybe you're really spotty at your pre-listing presentation, right? Your pre-listing packet that you want to drop off. You want to drop off all these things, but it doesn't consistently happen. Talk to ChatGPT. Call a business coach, a consultant, and go, how can I systematize my entire pre-listing up to the appointment process? How have I been at getting reviews? And how can I build, is there a system I could use like Go High Level, for example, that will automatically trigger requests for reviews and manage and monitor my reviews on my Google profile? Like those are things that exist. And so, but you can't just grab all these little tools that I'm saying. You don't just go grab all these little things like, oh, let me go high level. No, it needs to be part of an overall plan. So sit down with your AI, write that prompt and go, hey, listen, there's this part of my business. Maybe it's, and you just start with one. Maybe it's open houses. Maybe it's your buyer consultation. Maybe it's how you get people that are clients of yours to give you repeat and referral business and go, how would I design this if I wanted to run automatically? If I were going to hand this process off to an assistant? You might not have an assistant yet, but you want to start building in that way because soon enough, you're going to actually need that. When you make $300,000-$400,000 a year in the next year or so, then you're going to want to turn around and go, how can I scale this up to $1 million? And it's not going to be more hours. I can guarantee you that. Not if you want a life. You probably want big things in life. You want all kinds of other things that require your time. Start building with scale now. So here's the thing. If this hit like maybe even a little too close to home, here's what I need you to do. Comment later in the section. No pitch, nothing I'm trying to sell you. I just want to know like who's out there thinking long term, who's out there thinking short term, because I'm thinking long term. So comment later or long term. Love to start a conversation with you. But again, Isaac Guzman with Real Estate CEOs, here to support you in all things real estate. Until next time, keep crushing it.